you can use databases in GCAD Plus in a number of different ways. Perhaps the simplest way is to use the inbuilt database system. If I start my browser or Finder and I go to the Documents folder, that's where GCAD Plus is installed, and let's click on it and we come to the highest level of GCAD Plus, and can you see all these files here that end in the extension GCP? They're the simple text-based database files that you can use with GCAD Plus. They're simple, they're just a text file. If I select, say, one for British Columbia and open it up, I hope you can see there's a list in botanical name, common name, type, code, pot size, costs, customer, and a total in this case, but you can see that there's quite a lot of information here. Let's close that one and we'll pick another one from Canberra in Australia, and same sort of option. We've got about 20 or 30 different plant species, so you can in fact have very different GCP or plant database files for every possible use. You can make one, if you like, for edible tropical, and let's open it, and you can see here the plant species: lemongrass, jackfruit, breadfruit, and so on. This should be typical of what you might use if you were working in Florida and wanting to do some sort of food forest. So you can see those database files, and we supply quite a lot of them, and they're given to us by users who send them in, and we'd like to add more. They take up very little space, but you'll do your own. And let's have a look now at how you use one of those GCP files inside of GCAD Plus. Well, here's a design for the front of a property, the front garden, and the plant database file that we just looked at is loaded using GCAD Plus plant schedules and lists, and then attach a file. I won't do that for the moment, because if you look down in the status line, whoops, there is one already associated with this drawing. It's located in the C drive in a folder called My Symbols and under database files, and it happens to be called AW Plant List. Notice the GCP extension. So if we say GCAD Plus edit the plant list, what it's doing is looking at that AW Plant List GCP, and here we are. We can scroll through it. It's got currently 29 entries, and this is a GCP file for a landscape design consultancy called AW Landscaping, and they gradually add more and more plants as they do their design work. So this particular GCP file now will cover all of the information in this particular design. Notice that there's a red underline associated with many species, and that's a flag to you saying that I'm not sure, GCAD Plus is not sure that acacia is fine. I know about that in my dictionary, but I don't know about cognata. So I click on it, and then, I hover over it, and then right click and add that word. So it's adding that word to, I'll close there, so each reference, and there were two of them, to a couple of hybrid varieties of acacia cognata, one called waterfall and one called limelight. That term has now been added, and the same will apply here. We can add an anthos and add, but a close between each one, add that word. Can you see where one thing that you really want to avoid as a landscape designer is misspelled names for botanical names? You're probably going to be designing for people who know their plants. So when you are constructing your own GCP file, I think it's a really good idea to double check in Google, do a Google search for Agonis flexuosa and make sure that it is correctly spelled here. The dictionary is also stored in your documents folder and in GCAD Plus and underneath it, and I'll point that out when I go back to the Explorer. So let's do that. So here I'm looking at Windows Explorer, and I've gone Documents, GCAD Plus, and you notice this dictionary folder. That's where we've just been making some changes. I'm recording this on the 18th of November, and so we're adding to the dictionary file. What that means is that whenever we do a new job and swing to a new job and load that file, it'll be referring to the changes that we've made in the dictionary. So as long as you protect that file, so it'd be a good idea when you back up GCAD Plus from time to time, just back up the whole folder, and that will, we hope you start using the folders here, 20, 21, 22, drawings and fonts and jobs and so on. We hope you use these, but the simplest way to protect the careful work you've done fixing up spelling errors in the plant database file is to back up this whole GCAD Plus folder from time to time. So that's the simplest way of managing a database. Let's go back into the, don't forget, once we're back in the drawing and we're looking for plants, we can find, we want, let's say, Agonis flexuosa, the common name is a burgundy. We can hit burgundy and you can see it pops up, burgundy, willow, myrtle. So you can search through the database to find species quickly and easily, and that's important when you are tagging a symbol. Well, we'll come to that in a different movie, but you can sort all of these. If you wanted, a common search might be, I'm looking for a climbing vine. So here we are in the list. I've got 2 climbers or vines, whatever your terminology is, and this is eminently configurable. You call, you might call this tufted grass or hedge, shrubs, all sorts of terminology can be used, and it's your terminology. We can expand this out. You can see here I've used custom here, 0 to 0.5 meters for a tussock grass, but I could add a column, and I could call it H times width, and then we could say, let's take this bit from here and we'll copy it, pop it into the adjoining column, paste it, and then we can remove this. So we're editing the plant database file as we go, and as long as you keep the order, common name, type, code, pot size, cost, custom, keep that order, you'll be able to tag a species and lock it into this database file and generate plant schedules and do counting and so on. So the plant database file, I know it's simple, it's a simple ASCII text file, but it has all sorts of uses. So that's the simplest, easiest way to manage a plant database in the GCAD Plus environment. So if we return to the design and we're interested in working with one particular species, it's Melaleuca viminalis, so it's in the plant list, and each one of these symbols through here is tagged with Melaleuca viminalis, so generating a plant schedule and counting that will be done automatically. So if we click in here, edit the plant list, we should be able to find Melaleuca viminalis, and here it is, and we can carry on. The dictionary doesn't know about Melaleuca or Viminalis. Whoops. I need to get used to simply hovering over it and adding the word. I do need to close. We'd like to be able to add, and I think we can change GCAD Plus in the future so that you can add successive adjustments to the dictionary there. So that's a good overview, I think, of how you use GCAD Plus and GCP files really easily to tag. So every one of the symbols now is tagged, and lots of information, its code, its common name and so on, are all in that window.